This is by far one of the hardest things I've ever struggled with and has literally ruined and ran my entire life. So let's talk about it. Hey friends, welcome back to the Why Would I Say That podcast. It's your girl Tiara, and today I want to talk about fear of abandonment because I know my BPD queens and kings have been wanting more BPD content, and here I am. We're getting a little more niche with it this time, except this I feel like applies to so many people. It doesn't just apply to someone with BPD. This can apply to a normal person too. You don't have to fear abandonment to have BPD, and you don't have to have BPD to fear abandonment. You can just fear abandonment. When it comes to talking about fear of abandonment, it's pretty self-explanatory. It's when you fear being abandoned. And this can be by anybody. People with anxious attachment fear abandonment. They wouldn't be anxiously attached if they didn't. Avoidant attachment style. They're avoiding relationships because they never felt safe. Probably because they fear abandonment. There are so many people in this world who fear abandonment, and it can literally run your life without realizing it. And that's why I want to talk about it today, because I've been doing a lot of reflecting lately. If you've watched my past episodes, if you've seen me have like multiple breakdowns, talk about how I've been single for so long, I'm not willing to go on dates, I'm not willing to do anything, and I've just been having a really hard time with being alone. And not like really just being alone, because right now I love being alone, but it's literally because you can't hurt me. It's because I fear abandonment. Just because I'm not actively chasing someone down looking like a crazy person, like please don't leave me, doesn't mean that I'm not scared to be left. If you're reading in between the lines, I'm so scared to be left, I don't even want to give anybody a chance to leave me, so I don't let anybody in. But ladies and gentlemen, I have news for you. Your girl finally went on a date, and it was great. He went and took me to see a play. We went and got drinks after. We're getting there. But the thing is, I almost didn't even go on this date, to be completely honest with you, because I was just starting to think about like, well, if I go on this date, then I'm going to have to feel obligated to be around them all the time. And then what if we form a connection? And then what if it gets really deep? And then what if they leave me? Or what if they're a bad person? Or what if I can't manage my symptoms of my BPD anymore? Like, what if? And that fear could have kept me from just experiencing. Like, I'm not saying I'm going to marry this man, but at the same time, the sooner I go on dates, the sooner I'm going to find the person I'm going to marry. Duh, I need a ring on his finger, put a rock on it. But I genuinely almost didn't go. And it was like one of those things where I kept telling everyone like, oh, I'm not going out with someone when they just ask me to come to their apartment. I'm not going to go out with someone if they don't have goals like me. I'm not going to go out with someone. Like, I had all these standards and everything, but he actually met all those standards. But I was still fearing abandonment, and I still do fear abandonment. I'm sitting here talking to you like it's past tense. It's still present tense. I'm just doing the scary thing and doing the exposure therapies on myself, because it's time for me to live the life I deserve, to have the connections that I crave, and have the relationships that I actually want in my life. And I got to go on dates to do that. And I got to let people in to do that. And honestly, I am a little mad that he met my standards, because now I have to actually work on myself and do the hard thing and get all anxious and stuff and throw myself right into it. But at least I'm self-aware, and I did it because it took a lot of work. Literally just getting myself out of the house and going on a date was a lot of work because I fear abandonment so badly. Do you know how damaging that is? Do you know how lonely that is? How scary that is? Like, I honestly, thinking about it, I know it sounds scary to get your heart broken and all that stuff, but I'd rather experience love and heartbreak than to never experience love at all. And by me being so afraid of being abandoned all the time, I'm never getting that contrast. Right now, I'm getting the contrast. I'm getting the good parts. Update you if there's ever any bad parts. But it's just like, I just want to experience the life experience, because we only got one of them. So screw it, I might as well use it, right? And when I first started going through things like this, I didn't even realize this is what I was dealing with. When I first started dealing with this, I didn't even know I had borderline personality disorder. So like, I was running off of fear of abandonment. And what fear of abandonment stems from is unstable relationships. It can come from childhood experiences or trauma. If you had someone that left you earlier on in your life, that was like a big part of your life, you may fear abandonment. You may have had just unstable relationships growing up where they did the push-pull. So you're fearing that, because even if they stayed in that relationship, they were abandoning you, but they were still there, which is almost worse. I don't know if anyone else has ever gone through that, where they've like been with someone and they've been like stonewall and you can't really reach out to them, but they're like, well, I'm still here for you. I do this, this, and that for you. But they're like not actually there for you. I literally feel like that is a type of abandonment. They're abandoning you, but they're still here. And which I think that's even worse because I've been there, and it's so confusing. And it like literally, like I have this gross feeling in my stomach talking about it right now. Like I'm about to throw up. Like that is a terrible feeling to have. So if you were like in relationships like that, like you may fear abandonment, or even if you weren't, you may just fear abandonment. It's like kind of like human thing to do. Like nobody wants to lose their best friend. No one wants to lose their boyfriend or their girlfriend. No one wants to lose their parents. Of course not. Nobody wants to go through that. And as you guys know, I have borderline personality disorder, and one of the criteria of BPD is fear of abandonment. So if you have no idea what BPD is, like, and you don't have it, think of your normal emotions, rapid cycling, a little more intense all the time, every day, all of the time. Just rapid emotion, intense emotion all the time. So I'm not saying that BPD feels it more, has it worse. It's not what I'm saying at all. I'm just kind of talking about from the standpoint of having BPD, why I'm talking about this and why I take this so seriously, because it is one of the first criterias in BPD and one of the main criterias of BPD. At least I would think so. I'm not trying to speak out of my ass here, okay? I have never really met a borderline that hasn't feared abandonment. I think it's a huge part that plays into BPD. I think it has to do with the definition of it, the unstable relationships, environments, and moods. And I have had like a comment once or twice saying like, oh, like I don't fear abandonment because I stay all alone and all that stuff. But that is you fearing abandonment. If you would let people in if you weren't scared to be abandoned or to be hurt. Like there are certain introverts and people who do relatively like spending their time alone. But if you don't want people, that might be you fearing abandonment. I don't know if that's just like my like tangent into that, but yeah. But again, this can show up anywhere for anyone because, again, who in their life wants to lose a friend or a boyfriend or a parent or a mentor? Like, no one is like, yeah, abandonment. Yeah. So, like, this applies to everyone. It's just, like, with borderline personality disorder, it's something that is super common to ruin and run a borderline's life. How fear of abandonment presented itself into my life was just me sabotaging my own relationships. Like me being scared that that's going to happen. I then start arguments because I thought your tone or your facial expression was off. So now I think you're abandoning me because you made a face like this. Or you started talking a little like this. So now I think you're going to leave me. And then I start an argument, and then I kind of push you to do that because now I'm being annoying, be like, oh my God, you're so mean to me, and it kind of pushes them to do the thing that I didn't want them to do because I'm trying to avoid it, but now I'm like frantic and panicky, just making the situation worse. And sometimes just pushing people away altogether because, again, if you're not here, you can't leave me, you can't hurt me. If I did it, you can't do it. So I just push you away. No fun, no bueno, no fun. This always gets me because your girl's an overthinker. This podcast wouldn't exist if I wasn't an overthinker. You're welcome. But overthinking and anxiety can show up because of the fear of abandonment. When you receive a text from someone, or in my case, a favorite person, which again, if you don't have BPD, it's just someone that you favor and usually who you fear the most to abandon you. But basically, if a favorite person were to text me, I will reread their text messages, try to read their tone, and sometimes even take it the wrong way, take them very personally. I read in between the times that you sent the text. I just overthink everything, and I get extremely anxious to the point I get like sick. I won't eat. I won't sleep. I'm just running myself crazy. And I remember like when I was like probably having the worst symptoms of BPD in my life, I would literally sit there and like if I was like talking to a guy or something and I thought they were going to hang out with me, I would get completely ready, sit in bed until 2 a.m. waiting for this text message, making myself sick and tired. And then I'd wake up the next day and be upset, or I was upset that one night and then think that nobody likes me, nobody loves me because I'm just literally just sitting there waiting anxiously and overthinking the whole thing. It's just not great. It's not great. And another way this is presented in my life is either being extremely clingy or extremely distant. So when I first started dating, I would probably describe myself as super clingy and kind of annoying. Because again, I didn't know this was what was happening to me. So I was clinging on and I thought that was what love was. And then like, I was just doing way too much. I was being a little over the top. Yes, we love, but I was being too much. But now it presents as me being distant. Because again, you can't hurt me if I avoid it altogether. So now I'm very distant. I push a lot away, but we're working on it. I even said in the beginning of the podcast, we were working on it and we're doing the dang thing. But that's just how it presents in my life and how it just does, it just sucks. It really sucks. And this also really affected my self-worth. I really didn't think I was worthy unless people would stay. And even like in my last relationship, I would always think that like no one would understand me like them. Like I'm not worthy enough. Like no one's willing to I just thought of myself so lowly that I think that no one would be willing to get to know me again. So then I stay in certain crappy relationships and stuff like that because I fear being abandonment and my self-worth is on the floor. While we're on the topic of mental health, I would like to thank BetterHelp for sponsoring this podcast. It is no secret that I struggle with mental health. I spend most of my time advocating for it. Over 70% of the people with mental health disorders do not receive help. This means that 680 million people are silently suffering without treatment. BetterHelp has dedicated their platform to breaking down barriers and making help available to 200 countries, making help available to anyone at any time, anywhere. As someone with borderline personality disorder, stigma used to make me feel so fearful of therapy. But having a space that is based on my needs with absolutely no judgment and a personalized plan has made all the difference in the world. Therapy has changed my life, and BetterHelp has made it even easier to keep showing up for myself. No more endless Google searches, no more waiting months for an appointment when you're in a crisis right now. I would not promote BetterHelp if I truly didn't believe in it. With over 7,000 reviews and a 4.3 rating on Trustpilot, BetterHelp is a platform that you can trust. Use my code betterhelp.com/TiaraLorraine for 10% off your first month. Again, thank you BetterHelp for sponsoring this podcast and allowing me to give my listeners 10% off their first month of therapy. Again, that's betterhelp.com/TiaraLorraine or linked in the description below. And now back to the episode. And what this also caused me to do was kind of be a serial dater because people are willing to get to know you again after, like, even if your self-worth is there. So I turned into a serial dater, but I genuinely believe if someone didn't want me, I'm not worthy at all, and I'm not wanted on this earth at all. Like, I don't know if that makes sense to anybody, but it's something that I felt super strongly. Like, if someone didn't find me worthy or I took up some of their time, I didn't feel worthy at all, which then put me in a lot of more messed up situations because now I'm bouncing from person to person and I don't even care what type of person they are as long as they don't leave me because I'm worthy if you don't leave me. And yeah, that can just be so damaging. Like, all of that is exhausting and damaging, and it ran my life. Like I said, I was staying up till 2 a.m. waiting for text messages, rereading things all day long. I'm doing the push-pull with myself. Like, I'm pulling towards people and then I'm pushing them away, and then I'm pulling towards people and then I'm pushing them away. I'm getting emotional whiplash from myself, and it's no fun. And then not only are you giving yourself emotional whiplash, imagine the person on the receiving end. It took a long time for me to realize what this was doing to people because my intent was not to hurt anybody. My intent was really just to be loved. I crave to be loved so much, and if you flame me for that, I'm human. Leave me alone. Humans crave love, and that is okay. But I didn't realize how unloving this came off. It's giving hot and cold, back and forth, push and pull. It's just it literally does the opposite of what you want it to do. As much as I would like to say that people will attract to that, you'll find your person with that mindset, it's really hard to be real with yourself about this. But a lot of the times when you are doing these things, yes, your intent is to give love and receive love. But I feel like the person on the receiving end of this feels as if it's like gaslighty and manipulative, even if your intent is not. Like, that's just what it appears to be. Like, to be completely real with you and like not to get too heavy, trigger warning, there have been times where I've like almost took myself off the earth because a person didn't want me anymore. And it wasn't because, oh, maybe if I attempt this, that they'll stay. It was like I literally was going to like not be on this earth anymore. And I really wasn't trying to manipulate them, but it's a little manipulative, but the intent wasn't there. So I'm not trying to sit here and say that every time you do that, it's manipulative. I think it comes down to intent, but I think on the receiving end of that, that's what it comes off as. So it's really hard to like actually attract someone who understands you while running off of this mindset. Again, easier said than done to break, but it's just something that it took a while for me to sit with, and I had to sit with in order to change my behaviors, because if I didn't see like the negative stuff in it, I probably wouldn't change, because then it would be okay, right? So I don't know. I think it's super important to point that out, even though it's like uncomfortable to point out. And a lot of times people go crazy when you point that out. But again, I want to help you. I don't want to sugarcoat it. So listen to me. Maybe don't. I hope it didn't come off harsh. Don't hate me for that. Again, everyone relatively fears abandonment, but how do you know like you're literally fearing abandonment and it's ruining and running your life? If you constantly need reassurance, if you're constantly asking this person or somebody, do you love me? Are you still going to be here? If you're constantly asking somebody those questions and constantly needing reassurance and the trust just isn't there, you may be leaning towards it might be running your life and your relationships. You assume that people are mad or are already leaving you without the proof of it. You just think that they are because you got a feeling from their tone or their facial expression. If you are assuming somebody left without them literally leaving, this may be running and ruining your relationship, because you're going to come at this person the next time you see them as if they left you, and it's going to come off a little harsh, or you're going to be really, really distant. But either way, that's just showing that you're fearing abandonment and you're running from it, even though it's not even happening, and it's running your life and your relationships. This one, we're clocking me. We're clocking me right here, right now. You just avoid closeness altogether. Again, you can't abandon me if I don't give you a chance. Yeah, I've talked about that one so much, I really don't think I have to go in depth about that one. And the infamous thing that people love to stigmatize about BPD is testing others. If you're testing others to see if they'll leave or giving them a little test, or if you're starting like a text now number because you have a boyfriend, you want to see if they'll cheat on you with this random text now number, like you're testing them, and you're like, if you're like poking the bear and testing to see where their loyalty goes, you're probably fearing abandonment, and it's not a thing you should do in your relationships. The trust should be there. The trust should be mutual. Imagine like if you are dealing with this and you're doing this to someone, which again, I've been there, I've done that. I'm not saying you're a bad person. I love you and you're an amazing person. We just got to learn some things. But imagine being on the receiving end of that, like someone testing you all the time. Like, first of all, I know that I've done this before, okay? But like, don't piss me off. Like, please, if that was done to me, I'd be like, are we being serious right now? Like, I've literally proved to you the last all these months that I want to stay, and you're still testing me. You're driving me insane. Eventually, the trust should just be there. Again, like if you have a healthy brain, easier, very much easier. But if you're someone like me, that is something that I have done in the past, and hopefully I have learned not to do anymore. Again, we're now testing the relationship theories again, so I don't really know what symptoms I have to work on, at least in this context. So I don't know, but I don't plan on doing that. I don't want to do that. And I can understand how annoying that could be on really either end, because even on my end, like I don't know why I feel like I have to test them and why I feel like I can't trust them. Like it's just a hard feeling to go through, but it's probably a sign that you are dealing with like a literal fear of abandonment, and it's running and ruining your life. And the reason I go so in depth into these things, because a lot of the times to break the cycle, to any cycle, is awareness is the first step. You have to be aware of what's going on, because again, I didn't know I was fearing abandonment. I didn't know I had BPD at one point, but if I didn't start becoming aware of those things, I would still be ruining my life, ruining my relationships, ruining my connections with other people, because I just did not care enough to be aware and understanding of how this is actually affecting my life and the people around me. And just because you do something quote unquote like not right in this context. Like, you fear abandonment. You're not a bad person. You're craving love, and that's why you do those things. Actually, you're an amazing person. You crave it so deeply that you're so scared. But you have to be aware of these things in order to get through it. It takes a while. You're not going to get it fixed overnight, but the sooner you start becoming more aware, the sooner you start to have those breakthrough and light bulb moments that I'm always talking about. Name the fear when it comes up. Speak it out. What is the reality of the situation? Not, well, their tone sounded like this, so they're definitely leaving me. They're definitely thinking this. They're definitely thinking that. No, what did they say? Did they say they were just tired? Then maybe they're just tired. They never said they were tired of you. They never said they were tired of the relationship. They just said they were tired. So, like, what is the reality of it? Like, name actual factual things that are happening, not something that's just happening in your little spirit world that no one else can see, okay? Things that literally happen, facts, proof, the truth. Start pointing out those things. Because a lot of the times I got to ask myself, did they actually abandon me, or am I just spiraling? A lot of the times I'm just spiraling. And those times, sometimes I'm spiraling and then I push people away because I was spiraling and they never abandoned me. I made them abandon me. I don't know if anyone else gets that, like how many times I've like been in the situation where I didn't want to be abandoned and then I literally pushed them to do that because of my fear of abandonment. It's just like, ugh, so backwards. It's so backwards, you know? Also, learning to deal with like small distance in a relationship and the uncertainty in a relationship. This one is definitely a harder one for me. Distance is kind of hard, but at the same time, I always tell myself and other people, if you have a favorite person or you're dating someone, make sure that you also have other connections in your life, because you just never know what could happen. I'm not saying you should plan on someone to leave you, but I don't think that like your connection to people, all your eggs should be in one basket. You have so many people in this world that you can learn from, more than just one person. When you're putting everything all into one person, that is super overwhelming. As if someone were to put everything onto me, I'd be extremely overwhelmed. Just taking time to go out to lunch with other friends, to go shopping, to go just learning to have like the small distance and dealing with the uncertainty in relationships. Again, always look for the facts of situations, not the what's going on in your brain. You should always be looking for the fact of the situation, what's actually happening, the reality that's in front of you. My favorite thing and favorite tip that I've taken away from therapy, and I literally apply it every single day of my life. My therapist told me to never assume what someone is saying. If they don't say it, that is not your fault. Only communicate off of what they said. Changed my life. Light bulb moment. Like things just going off in my brain. I was like, hey, you know what? You're right. And honestly, just me taking that advice has made my life so much better. Do I still fear being abandoned? Do I still have things that go on in my head? Yes, I do. 100%. I still think like, oh, what if this person really meant this? I just try not to act on that anymore. I just reply to literally the reality in front of me and I move forward, because it is not my fault if someone isn't willing to communicate their feelings. So if someone's not telling you that they're abandoning you, don't assume that they're abandoning you. Communicate off of what they're literally saying. It's my favorite piece of advice that I've ever gotten for therapy. And it's like, if there was one thing from therapy that changed my life, it was definitely that. It's uncomfortable, but your peace is worth more than constant anxiety. Because no matter how you react to this thing, you're still going to be anxious. I mean, when I was reacting the way that I wanted to by like being the worst version of myself, I made it worse. And even today, like I still get anxious when I have to react to these things, but I'm trying to be a little more self-aware and take a different approach. I still get anxious. I still get scared, but it's a lot more peaceful than the chaos that I was causing in the past, because I was just so scared that I was actually causing so much more to happen. And it was ruining my life, my relationships, and just everything around me. It was just not a good time, and I had no self-worth. I don't know. It was really bad. And I just don't want any of you to go through it. So I think today we need to talk about it, because this is super important. Whether you have BPD, you don't have BPD, it doesn't matter. Fear of abandonment sucks. And I'm working so hard to not let this run my life as much as it used to. So hopefully I planted the seed for you and made you have like a little light bulb moment, because I don't want any of you being extrally anxious when you don't have to be, and overcompensating in areas where you don't have to be. We should be working on ourselves, being the best version of ourselves, and living a fun, happy, healthy life. Might take a while, but we're going to get there. We're going to get there, and we're going to do it together. Again, I'm not a doctor. I'm just a girl going through these things in real time, in real life, and just giving you the advice that I've learned and wish that I had. If this message hit home for you, please share with me in the comments down below. I love seeing your comments. I love bouncing ideas off each other. And I genuinely love knowing that like some of this information is helpful, because sometimes I'll be talking and I'm like, oh my God, they don't even want to hear what I have to say. I don't know. You know, like when you watch a video back or listen to your own voice too much, you're like, oh my God, you're just so stupid. Like it's like a normal thing to do. Yeah, I started to do that too because I'm human, I'm normal, but we post anyway. We keep talking anyways. But yeah, please let me know, because it's extremely encouraging and super helpful to me to know what you've taken away from this, and honestly, what I should make more content on in the future. So please let me know if this hit home for you in the comments down below. Make sure you give this podcast a big thumbs up. And if you're listening on podcast, make sure you give it a 5-star review. It is so freaking helpful to me. And hey, if you see one of these clips on the TikToks, the Instagrams, or the Facebooks, or whatever the frick that you use, hit that repost button. There's someone on your page that's fearing abandonment and needs this information. Please help a small creator out. Okay, yeah, I'm done with the self-promo. I just really wanted to talk about this today because I think it's super, super important. It's something that has weighed heavy on me for so long, and I don't want it to ruin your life like it ruined mine. So hopefully I can prevent some of the things that has happened to me from happening to you. That's all I'm trying to do here. But yeah, that's pretty much all I have for you guys. So thank you guys so much for being here. I love you guys more than anything in the world. And until next week, I love you guys.